in this discussion by helping us to try and answer the questions beyond these commissions or series of investigations, commissions of inquiry, committees like Public Accounts Committee of Parliament, Local Government Accounts Committee of Parliament, the IGG, the Auditor General, and others. Do they actually lead to corruption? Do they help the fight corruption rather? And do they help recovery of taxpayers' money? I know as we speak today, there have been a series of meetings, multiple meetings. The parliamentary caucus, Captain Mike Mukula left the caucus to come and join us here. There is a cabinet subcommittee meeting, the cabinet meeting that the president is not chairing, but Vice President Second is chairing, and they are rotating around the same issues. Is politics playing bigger than the real issue of recovery of taxpayers' money? Captain Mukula, you've been investigated, you've participated at various political levels of or the political game at various levels. You are a minister, you're no longer a minister. Isn't this simple drama that we see creates some excitement around Parliament? The public is excited, the media is excited, and then people resign and everybody's excited, and so what after that?
No, first of all, let me say that I commend the Public Accounts Committee for the excellent work they have done in exposing the challenges in governance in our country, and also making sure that the principles of political accountability and exposing entrenched corruption in government comes out. I have been at the center of this, and I'm happy that during the Ogola Commission and your paper obviously brought out a very clear report to the effect that I was cleared by the DPP, having carried out a very deep and forensic audit and investigation on the Global Fund matter. And I want to really say that having been cleared, I also want to take the opportunity again to have to appear before this committee sometime, so that they also get to hear my side of the story on the Gavi. Because you see, as a minister, for me really, I felt that, say for example, without becoming or making this matter sub judice, you have times when you have communication, either in writing or otherwise, but it's up to you to make that judgment and be very, very clear. For me, for example, I received a communication from State House, and I will not go deep into it, and the matter was in the region of 264 million. I will also not go deep into it. But obviously, having exercised my position as a minister and recommended to the appropriate authority, the minister, and then to the accounting officer, and Article 264 of the Constitution, the accounting officer is the permanent secretary. What I did was that, obviously, it is important for you, the minister, to know that the powers of sanction is not faced. You as a minister don't have the power to preside or to authorize or sanction money. That must be very, very clear. Now, what I did was that I forwarded this to my senior minister, who was under the Constitution, is the man in charge of the ministry, and he forwarded it equally to the permanent secretary. And obviously, when the money was authorized, for me there, I was cleared. That's number one. The accounting officer is the permanent secretary. Two, when the money was dispersed, what is important for you to note is that when part of the money was not sent, I went back to my minister and said, send this money back to Treasury. And evidence will come out at an appropriate time. You will see that money which was not spent, the 210 million shillings, was sent to Bank of Uganda. The other 54 was spent and accounted for correctly. So for me, when I walk in the streets, my conscience is very clear. That yes, I exercised and I was able to act fully and protected the money, the taxpayers' money. So once the matter is in court, to me, I am a very happy man. And that's why I want to take the opportunity at an appropriate time to make a statement in Parliament. It is important that when you're a political officer or where you are a civil servant, you must be as careful and as thorough as you can, because these mistakes will eventually catch up with you. The oversight functions of Parliament, the Auditor General, and all these other bodies, you now have a very vibrant, these organs of what you call the quasi organs of the civil society. You, the press, go in and pick letters that sometimes embarrass even the president. So what I want to say,
if he signed them.
Yes, that's why I say that it is important that now that we have a very vibrant civil society, now that we have a very vibrant parliament, now that we have a very clear and effective Auditor General, I think the honors is now in the hands of those who preside and take decisions over public account over monies that belong to the taxpayer or the people of Uganda, to be as careful as you can be.
Were these ministers your former colleagues? You served in cabinet when they were still in cabinet. Did they exercise that due diligence? Did they were they careful as they should have been, in your view now?
Well, you see, they have been found culpable by the Oversight Committee of Parliament. And obviously, I sympathize with them. These are colleagues. They have done a lot of good work for this country. But they have been caught on the wrong foot, on the wrong footing. My view is that I think obviously the two have stepped aside. It is now up to the IGG and the other organs of the state to investigate them. One is presumed innocent until proven guilty. That's the Constitution of Uganda under Article 29.
The biggest challenge in the fight against corruption, what we actually see in Uganda, is that the figures keep growing. The money doesn't get refunded, but these public shows and investigations, including the Ogola Commission, by the way, including those by Justice Julius Sebutinde and numerous others, haven't resulted in a return of of taxpayers' money.
That's why you see the anger of the general population. Every time you have a matter where you have monies that has been spent recklessly, people come out and cry for blood. They want to have somebody hanged. And when you see, for example, on Twitter, when you read on Twitter, when you read on Facebook, when you read the press, the responses on this media here, you really see that people want to see those who are responsible, who are given the authority to run the public affairs of this country, accounting to the people of Uganda. If not, they will have to be held culpable and be brought to book.
When you were in the face of the storm of Global Fund and Gavi, you were not reappointed to cabinet. And people believe that was your punishment for your involvement in those two schemes.
Well, first of all, and you recall that I lost the election in 2006. So maybe it was also the choice of the appointing authority not to reappoint me because I was not holding a public office by the people. Two, you'll also note that when I was re-elected in 2011, I personally chose 4 months before the appointment of the ministers to write to His Excellency the President, and I discussed with him. I told him that if it does occur to you at any given time that you'd want to reappoint me or appoint me as a minister, please exclude me, because I feel that really I can serve this country outside the executive.
Was it your response to public hostility and the court of public opinion that didn't believe that though you were cleared by the investigations and that you're still going through a court process, they still believed that you had some responsibility to the disappearance or the abuse of these funds, both in Global Fund and Gavi?
You see, one thing that you must have is that in any government, you must always have what you call exercise political hygiene. People want to see a sober executive. What people want to see ministers who can really take serious political responsibility, take the affairs of this country seriously. To me, I think the most fundamental fact is that I do not want to be seen to be part of a group that is being recycled. I also do not want to be seen, having gone through the stint in 2006, appearing again in cabinet. I think it would only be fair for me to have a clear conscience and to be responsible to the people of Uganda. And even if I was cleared, I don't think it would have been fair for me to show that I was dying to be to be a minister. I think I'm serving a much better position in the private sector, and I want to assure you
you're much more peaceful.
that I am much more peaceful. I'm very comfortable, and it also gives me the opportunity now, really, to be a very responsible legislator, because I see some of the mistakes that colleagues make on the floor of Parliament, and either in the caucus or on the floor of Parliament, I really come out openly without fear or favor to tell them that here you are, I have gone through it. I think come up, own up and hold the responsibility on matters of accountability for this country. You recall that we had the issue of the motion which was on the floor of Parliament, whereas you do recall that a caucus came up with a position and said, no, some people have to be defended. To me, I came out on the floor of Parliament, I said, no, the issue of corruption is not a matter of government. It's not government. It's not a policy of government for one to be corrupt. I think the issue of corruption is individual. The issue of corruption is not a party matter. So when it comes to somebody or an individual being brought to book or being held culpable, let him carry his cross.
933 KFM Hot Seat. We'll go take a quick commercial break and come back to this discussion. We'll be right back.
It's live. It's hot. Provocative. And